Rhea Ripley wins the SmackDown Women's Championship by defeating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39 Night 1. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment, particularly coming out of last night's WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania 39 Night 1. One of the big matches heading into the show was what was going to happen with Royal Rumble winner, 2023 Women's Royal Rumble winner, that is Rhea Ripley, in her quest for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. And Rhea Ripley has earned her redemption after 3 years. In the semi-main event of WrestleMania 39 Night 1, Charlotte Flair defended the SmackDown Women's Championship against Royal Rumble winner Rhea Ripley. The two put on one of the hardest hitting women's matches in WrestleMania history, arguably surpassing their first encounter at the crowdless WrestleMania 36 at the WWE Performance Center in 2020. However, this time Rhea Ripley was able to rewrite history though, as she hoisted Flair up from the top rope, really the second rope, sent her crashing to the match with a riptide for the 3 count. As a result, Ripley captured her first ever SmackDown Women's Championship. Flair and Ripley have feuded off and on since the start of 2020 after Flair beat Ripley to win her second NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania 36. The two resumed their feud on Raw over the summer of 2021 after Ripley won the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 37. Flair eventually beat Ripley for that title at Money in the Bank, and Ripley was never able to regain it. Ripley eventually won the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match by becoming the first woman to win it from the number 1 spot. The stars aligned and Ripley selected then SmackDown champion Flair in an attempt to right the wrongs of their previous encounters. Ripley's victory over Flair marks the first time she has pinned the Queen since a November 2019 SmackDown triple threat that also involved Sasha Banks. That was actually one that had Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT competitors at the time in the build to Survivor Series that year. This year also marks Ripley's 4th WrestleMania in a row, as she has now competed for the NXT Women's Tag Team and SmackDown titles, improving her record to 2-2. Flair took part in her 7th WrestleMania match and is now 4-3, has a 4-3 record at the event. As I mentioned, with Ripley defeating Charlotte Flair, she's now begun her first reign as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Speaking to the media after the show at the WrestleMania Saturday press conference, Ripley described the victory as extremely satisfying, not least because her last WrestleMania match against Flair happened in 2020 at a time where the world was shut down. But there was another reason the win was so satisfying to Ripley: the fact she is now the only woman in history to have held the Raw, SmackDown, NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships, as well as the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Saying, quote, "I'm here to make history," Ripley said. Growing up in Adelaide, South Australia, I always got told that my dream of coming to WWE would probably not happen. So just making it here is such an accomplishment, but being the first Grand Slam champion to have those exact championships is so satisfying. I am so extremely proud of myself and my journey here to the WWE and my journey here within the WWE. To be able to accomplish all of those historic moments, man, that's the one thing that I strive for, making history. I want my name etched in the history books forever, and I've gone and done that. Now, technically, if we're going to get technical about this, Ripley is the 5th Women's Grand Slam champion, following Bayley, Asuka, Sasha Banks, of course now the IWGP Women's Champion Mercedes Moné, and Charlotte Flair herself. However, none of those women have ever held the NXT UK Women's Championship, which was unified with the domestic NXT Women's Championship at the Worlds Collide event in 2022. There's no word yet on whether WWE will consider Ripley's accomplishments a step up from the other 4, but if she wants to call herself the first true Grand Slam champion, certainly we're not going to tell her otherwise. And it was a real interesting and fascinating one, this one, because coming into it, of course, there was so much discussion about what match was going to main event WrestleMania Saturday. Was it going to be this match? Was it going to be the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match? There was a push within some in WWE that this match should main event more for political reasons as opposed to storyline reasons. There wasn't a women's main event last year, and they wanted to have at least one of the matches or one of the nights headlined by the women. The issue is that the storyline did not warrant it. The biggest storyline in WWE over the past 12 months has been the bloodline and the different facets of the bloodline, whether it's Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes now as we go to WrestleMania Sunday, or the Usos and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That was the biggest storyline. That was the storyline that was getting the most TV time. That was the storyline that had the most momentum. And I don't even think you could make an argument that the story was so great between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair heading into this one, or had this momentum, that it really truly should have been in that main event spot. So it was certainly the right call, no doubt about it. It was the right call to have the tag team championship main event. But because of that, you did get the impression that maybe, just maybe, they were wrestling with a chip on their shoulder, and they were wrestling like they had a point to prove. And if they had a point to prove, my goodness, did they prove it. Still, I didn't look at that match and say that should have main evented WrestleMania, but I looked at that match and said, you know what, fair play, fair enough to both people involved, because it's up there with one of the best, I think, female matches in WrestleMania history. I think it's up there with the likes of Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania 37, as just a match that you go, that was spectacular. And what was interesting is it built really, really well. It started off quite slow and quite lethargic, and you did have a bit of concern, because sometimes one of the more difficult spots at WrestleMania is to either go on second or go on second from last, which is what they did. They went on as the penultimate match. The crowd can be a bit tired, and they're looking forward to the main event, and they kind of just want to get the match out of the way. But by the end of this one, the crowd was fully engaged. They were fully into it, and as I said earlier on, it was hard hitting. These two beat the hell out of each other, and I still say that Charlotte Flair is not a babyface, she's a heel. But one thing you can't take away from Charlotte Flair is she is a phenomenal professional wrestler. She knows how to get it done in the ring. Same with Rhea Ripley. This is just levels above other females on the roster, in my opinion. Charlotte Flair, I don't know how she doesn't have a broken neck this morning. She might do. She didn't have a broken face. There was a spot where Rhea Ripley hit a German suplex on Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair kind of inverted and did a sort of somersault, and I'm assuming the intention was that she would land on her stomach, but she didn't. Her head, her face broke her fall. Literally, face first, she landed on the floor. It was a brutal, absolutely brutal spot from the Queen, and she even had a big red mark on her nose. It was really, really rough, but it was the right call to not have this one main event, but certainly it was the right call as well for Rhea Ripley to win this one. As to what she's going to do now, well, I guess she's on the SmackDown brand, which is interesting considering the Judgment Day's on Raw. Not to say that the brand extension really means all that much anymore in WWE, but Rhea Ripley's the face, I think, of the women's division in WWE. You've got the two faces, in my opinion now, the new faces, that are Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's still in her 20s. She's going to be a WWE superstar for years. You've got these kind of legendary four horsewomen figures still in the company, your Becky Lynch's, your Bayley's, your Charlotte Flair's as well. Rhea Ripley facing off against maybe, who else could she face off against? Maybe she faces off with a Bianca Belair in the future. Maybe she faces off against a Bayley, and maybe a Becky Lynch. Maybe that's the direction that they go in, but certainly an excellent match, and again, entirely deserved for Rhea Ripley to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. But there you go, guys. It's the latest news when it comes to WWE. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember, we are going to be back with another WrestleMania Night 2 watch-along and post-show this evening, so be sure to join us then, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.